All right, what's up, folks? Today I'm going to get my video done early. It's October the 1st. You see, I need to shave. Yeah, so I'm just going to do a quick video. This one is, I had an idea to look at all the swing points, right? So if we draw a line, horizontal line here, we draw a horizontal line here, draws a horizontal line here, you see this line here hits this swing point here, but it hits the low. That one hits the low. This one hits a high and a high and a high. And then this one hits a high. And then this one is roughly in the area. This one is a low. This is not a swing point. But this point here, this line here hits it 1, 2, 3 times. This one hits it twice. So that's pretty much what I'm looking for. I want to see if I can put together a code that will populate like on the right hand side of the screen or something. I don't know if I want to do it for every single line down the chart, every single price down the chart, or every tick down the chart, or only do it or only show it for the couple prices that are close to the current price. I'm not really sure, so I'm going to figure out what I want to do there, but I want to go ahead and kind of get started with this. And I don't know if I'm going to get done with it. This is not what I plan to do all day, but I'll do it on and off. But I don't plan on getting it all accomplished right now, is what I'm saying. I haven't even had on my coffee yet. All right, so let's bring in this guy. Oh, and this is one of the scripts I created the other day. This rectangle here shows where there's a shorting opportunity. So I need to put a dot on there that shows where the rectangle was first created, because I have it set up to extend as well, but I need to put something on there that shows where it was first created, because I'm curious if it was first created over here. I believe it was probably created right here when we get this wick right here. So the idea behind this indicator is we have this rejection here of this potential demand zone, and then when we come back over here, this rejection or this rejection here into this same zone, this overlap is what I called it, is like an overlap instead of like a gap. A gap indicator is like an overlap indicator. Overlap indicator where you have a rejection and you have a rejection, and then it creates a rectangle, and then you tend to have a bit of a sell-off. So I wanna fix that one real quick. So when do we draw the rectangle? Draw the box here. So whenever we draw the box, we're going to plot there, plot something. Or I could put a vertical line. Or I could draw 2 rectangles, and then that first rectangle will be a darker rectangle. I wonder, let me see if I can do that. So if I draw the object twice, and that way the last one being drawn will be the one that will be adjusted and extended. So let's try that. Let's try drawing objects dot add. So we'll just drawing objects. Nope, didn't look like it did it any darker. Drag that. All right, so what I'll do then is I'll come back to that, but I should be able to, you know what? I'm gonna copy this, paste that. There we go. So there's our second rectangle back there, right? So now we do have 2 rectangles. And this one was this was obviously our first one, right? I thought that if I, instead of making it fully red, if I make it like opaque, then the two colors can combine and it'll make a darker color. And with their powers combined, I am Captain Planet. All right, so, but if you look at that, if you drag this one out of the way, nope. If you drag this one out of the way, you see that the original box here started here, right? That's what it looks like. So it looks like maybe this point was the point at which it created the rectangle. You see, this one is extending as it's supposed to, but this one is where the rectangle was created. So we'll keep an eye on that, but let me change those colors. So fill that red. All right, let's make something, make a color, use a color class. This is not what I was supposed to be doing today. Color. Let me just look up. You know what? I'm gonna, because you can make your own color essentially. So here, when we draw this first rectangle, before we draw it, so this is the one that was essentially yellow. I'm going to go to a web page and color of red. All right, so color of red. We need the RGB code. RBG. Okay, 255. What's the first one? All right, so RBG 255. So we're going to go rect dot fill color, because it's not the color of it, it's the color that's filling the triangle. So the rectangle. So rect dot fill color equals color dot, and we'll do like from ARGB. From ARGB. The RGB is a red, green, blue, and then the A is the it's like the transparency. I forget what they called it, but so we'll do, I think full opaqueness would be 255. So we'll do we'll make it 100. So it'll be like a light red. 100, 255 for that red, and then 0 for the blue, 0 for the green. Okay, now so you see that one there, instead of being yellow, it's that light red. So now if we make, well, this, all right, if we make this one light red also, then with their colors combined, what? Oh, because we got color dot red here. Get rid of that one. All right, there we go. All right, so now you can see where the initial bar is, and look at that. I mean, it worked, right? It worked. I keep seeing that this works, so this is cool. This is cool. And I mean, scripts don't always work. And now, again, it won't continue to go all the way down. It won't sell off forever. But when you get this signal here, when this box is created, when you get that signal that to go short, it worked. All right. Let's go over to yesterday. All right, so yesterday it didn't work as well there. Here, you see the box was created here. It did gap up above it, but then there was a nice sell-off there after. But this one, actually, this is AM hours, so low liquidity. So I wouldn't put a lot of weight in that. This one, okay, all right. Anyway, all right, that one looked pretty good. And this is the one here that was, you know, phenomenal from yesterday. So you see it created the bar here, little wick above it, and then huge sell-off. All right, so anyway, let's put together a new one. I get these bright ideas and I'm like, man, let's run it. Okay. And this indicator here helped me pass a few prop firm combines yesterday, or day before yesterday. So my goal is to automate and to make good indicators and that kind of thing like that. But to make money also it's also a little important. So I did pass 2 combines yesterday. And I use that indicator to help me out because I am bad about shorting. I do not short. I came into this thing longing everything because I was in penny stocks and I didn't have 25 grand to put on it at first. And so everything that I could do, I couldn't short. I didn't have any leverage. I just traded my cash account, so I didn't have a leverage account where I'd short. So I was longing. So even up until this day, I'm still primarily looking for longs, which the market tends to go up, right? So we look for longs anyway. But I'm kind of getting this idea is like if you can't discern between shorts and longs, then you probably shouldn't be trading because there are shorts in the market. But anyway, so this helped me identify that I should be shorting instead of longing. And I took the short and it helped. So anyway, let's move back to what we're doing today. Get this one out of here. Save it, get you out of here. Let's do show me. And then this is going to be swing labels. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to identify the swings, and then we'll put them in vectors or something like that. So using EL system, using EL system.collections, because we're going to use a vector. So variable vector V. We're going to do V lows for our swing lows, and then we'll do 1 V highs for our swing highs. Initialize, because that's an object, we're going to initialize that as a null. And this will be highs. Okay, so now we also need one that's going to hold our value of our swing lows, which would be SL, and then of our highs, that. Okay, and so if SL is greater than 0, then so if we identify that we have a swing low, then we're going to hold that into the vector, which once begin, we need to have our 2 vectors brought into the program equals new vector. Let's make it consistent. All right. If we do have a swing low, then we're going to vlow dot insert 0. I'm going to insert the price. And if we have a swing high, it's greater than 0, then v high dot insert 0 swing high. We need to make that swing high. So the swing low is going to be equal to function swing low of 4 bars. And swing high is going to be equal to function swing high 4 bars. Okay, so now we have all of our swing points saved already, just like that. If last X, then print. I'm going to print the vlow.count. And then the vHigh.count. Okay, got to add that to this chart, which is swing labels. doesn't want to cooperate today. Oh, I did it as an indicator? Thought I did it as a... Yeah. Show me. Swing labels. There it is. This up here makes it look like it's a indicator, not a show me. Either way, it's got the word show me right there. All right. All right, so we have on this chart right here, which is 1 minute time frame and 5 days back, we have 581 swing lows and 585 swing highs. Okay. So now what we want to do is we need to go through some type of a loop. So we'll say if it's the last bar on the chart, I don't think we need to do this on the last bar because we don't want it to do all this calculation over and over and over every single bar. So just on each bar that we get to, let's go ahead and add it to probably a dictionary. So we want the price, yeah, it have to be a dictionary. So the lows, we'll start there. Okay, so we need that in our one statement as well for a dictionary. The lows equals new dictionary. Okay, and so if we get a swing low, then not only do we want to insert it into the vector, actually, if we were going to do a calculation one time and loop everything through, or if we're going to check all these on every single bar, then the vector will work fine. But since we're not, we'll use a dictionary. So we don't even need these vectors here. So I'll let it still sit there as like a vestigial limb or something like that, but we won't use it. So we'll say if the swing is we need to set up what we're going to use for our and this will all have to be adjusted as far as I'm concerned. But we need to set up our span. So right now, I think I just want to go every 2 ticks. So if the swing is between half a point's range. So we're going to have something called range. Oh, I feel like I'm getting into it now. All right, range. All right. All right, so let's if there's a new swing low, we're gonna have a range of what? Range of, we just call it range T, range threshold. And this will be a double. Oh, look at that. It came right back into that zone and then dropped again. Ah! That is awesome. That is awesome. This is a significant zone. I mean, yeah. All right. 13. Okay. All right, so double range T. If I need to I think I can use a loop. A loop in combination. God, that's a drop. I think I need to use a loop. Oh, there's Discord. All right. I think I need to figure out what the range will be. And then when we get a price, I can loop through the dictionary keys. Figure out the range. Use a loop to assign dictionary keys. All right, so take range and use loop to assign dictionary keys. Then on new value, loop through keys for location. Okay. All right, so after I create the dictionary, I'm going to say whatever the... Well, this is where it gets interesting, because when we look back a certain number of days, the range can truly go from like all the way down here to all the way up here. So how many iterations in the dictionary do you want to create? And maybe that's why we just use last bar and the vector. The design is important. The design is important. What you want to code for is important. So I'll just try to put something together now, and then I'll have another idea later to come up with something later. So look at this red. Look at this red. Look at this red. Just from a bird's eye view, I mean, it just works. I'm good. I'm impressed with that. Anyway. All right. Focus, man. Focus. I'm not focused today. My buddies and I, we're going, gosh, man, look at that. All right. Do we have news coming up? Today at 9:45. Yeah, so in an hour and a quarter or so. Okay, get back focus. All right, so we're going to take this dictionary. I'm sorry. I'm just glaring. I'm glaring. You ever work hard and you get the trophy and sometimes you just sit back and you look at the trophy. That's how I feel right now. So I'm kind of not even focused, but I need to get focused so I can get this done and kick back, relax for a minute. All right, so we're going to take the range. We're going to take okay. Because what I could do is, if we don't have anything in the dictionary, then I could create a new dictionary. Ah, it's getting more and more complicated the more I think about it. I need to write it out. All right, D-Lowe's. It's new dictionary. Okay. So we'll start with this. We'll start with dang. I can't think. I have to do multiple loops in this thing. All right, if swing low is not okay, so swing low, check span. All right, that's going to be a method. Okay, so now we're going to take swing low and we got to cycle through what's in the dictionary and see if we find that the price is between two levels. And because the dictionary has keys and it's not a stack like a stack collection like a vector, we have to go through all the keys. The keys are not numerical, the keys are strings. So in order to turn the keys from something that's something that's string and key related, not linear, we need to make it into something that's linear or like numerical related. And so to do that, we'll say for IDX equals 0, or I guess I could go 1 to the dictionary, the count of the dictionary, the lows, okay, dot count. If dlows dot count is greater than 0, then check the span. For IDX equals 1 to dlows dot count, you can't do dlows of an integer, right? Where are we at? You can't do dlows of an integer. You have to do dlows of a string key. Now, in order to convert it from like the string to the key, from a string to a numerical, we would do dlows dot keys, and now there's a certain number of keys. The number of keys is going to be the number of the count. And now I don't know if this is 0 base, the keys. I think it is though. So we need to go to 0 dot count minus 1. And so the key at the 0 index as type string, that is the key for dlows. Boom. Okay, so if we get this new swing low and we're checking to see if the swing low is between 2 keys. One key and the key that won't work, because I mean, it could work based on the design, but if you start off with a value here and then you add ranges, you have a value here, price level here, level, then anything that falls within this range is fine. But if you got a level that ends up dropping down here, well, now if you add that key to the range, if you add that key to the dictionary, now this key is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if the price then drops back down to here, now you have 5 up here. Now this becomes 6, 7, 8, 9. So you wouldn't be able to do it like that. This is where using an array would come in handy, because for the array, you could sort the array by value. You could sort the array I think I'm going to have to use an array. So I start off going with a vector, then I ended up doing a dictionary. I think the array is what we're going to have to use. And again, I am rusty with arrays. I don't use arrays often. Array, we're going to do a low, and it needs to be a dynamic range array. because I don't know if you, yeah, I think you do it that way. And if you put the number 5 in there, then the array is only going to allow for five places, indexes. But if you don't put anything in there, then it's a dynamic range array, so it can do, you know, as many as you want to. I don't remember if you have to set it or not, though. All right, so here's the array, and we're declaring it here. And so if we have a new swing low, then we're going to say a low of, now every time, now we need, now down here, even though we didn't have a value here, down here we do need to put where the array is. So is the array on the first line, second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line? Because we are going to use the sorting feature of the array up here, we don't want to use the 0 index. So we're going to start with 1. So whenever we find a count, a new swing low, we're going to do count plus equal 1. So count, if we start count, we're going to do a count low. We're going to start it at 0, and so count low will be plus equal to 1, and so the first time it comes in here, it'll be 1. So we'll do count low here. It's going to be equal to what? It's going to be equal to the swing low. All right. So now that we have the swing low, we're going to get this out of here because we can't do it with the dictionary. So let's get our thought process together. And so we don't need to look at the dictionary here. And who knows, we might need to come back to it, but I don't think so. All right, so then when we get a new swing low, we'll have a new vector. All right, so let's see first if this even works. What I want to do is, if I get to the last bar on the chart, then I want to count how many values are in the in the array. And when we looked over here briefly, you see that there's as many as 583 and 586 swing lows, swing highs. So when we come over here, when we, instead of doing the v low count, matter of fact, I'll just copy this. I'm gonna leave it on here just for debugging process purposes, and then we're gonna paste it. And then instead of v low count, v high count, I'm just interested in what's in that a low. And I can't do a low count. There are no properties of an array. A low dot, no properties of an array, huh? There's got to be some properties of an array where I can find out how many values are in the array. Array usage, x equals, multi-dimensional, but it's not a dynamic. All right, here's the array. Oh, okay. It'll be a function, not properties. So dynamic arrays, nothing. All right, so let's go over to array, get max index, a low. Dictionary D lows, that's null. We're not using that anyway. Yeah, semicolon there. Okay, yeah, so we do need to reset this. So we're going to do array. So what's happening is, you know, we're getting beyond the bounds of the oh, well, let's see. Turn it back on. Swing labels. Dynamic array index is out of bounds, right? So it's not throwing an error on here, but when we're actually running it, we're saying that the count plus 1, that's going to be our index, and we're putting the index into the array, and then we're assigning whatever that swing low is to the index of that array. But we don't have an array index that goes that high because we're doing a dynamic array, but we haven't assigned and allowed for it to be as high as count 1. So anytime we have a new swing low, we're going to go ahead and increase the max index of the array. So we're going to use array set max index. The name of the array is a low, and the max index will be whatever we are here because we need it to be that high. So it'll be count count 1. But it's got to be plus count low, but it's got to be plus 1 because that count low is how many we have. Well, it doesn't need to be plus 1. Count low is going to be how many elements we have, and we're going to start them at 1. So yeah, that's fine. I think we can get away with just count L. Swing labels. All right, there we go. All right, and you see what it did? We printed out 584. So we do have 584 elements in the array. So that's perfect. All right, so now what we want to do is we're going to sort the array. Well, okay. All right. Back to the drawing board. Because we have what we need in the array, okay? I think we need to use the array to create the dictionary. The problem is if we get a new I know what I can do. We don't need to run shit. This is a lot. We don't need to rerun the whole thing over unless we start getting values that are outside the range of our dictionary. And then in that case, you probably want to rerun it and go so many bars on the outside of the price. Because like I said, if you come in here and you have all these price levels set, that's fine. And then, you know, you return all the swings here. But then if the price gets beyond the high that you have on the chart, then you really need to have some price levels up here, because as price starts making it up here, you don't want to be rerunning all this code on every single bar. Yeah, so, but I really need to just try to keep it basic right now, and then I can go and expand later. Problem is I know that I will want to expand it later, and I could just do it now. So let's just work what we've got. We're going to have the swing lows put into the array. We also have it put into the vector. I think we're going to have all these values put into the array. You know what? we don't need them in the array. What we need in the array is the price levels. Okay, so I'm gonna make some notes on here. You know how when you started off and you were in kindergarten and you were learning your ABCs, and it might have been tough, but it was simple. Where I'm at now in my programming and my creativity is that I'm doing things that are no longer simple. They're at my level of skill and or harder, so I can do it. It's just that it's still tough. But that's how I want it to be. I don't ever want to do stuff that's I don't ever want to do ABCs all day long. That's why I'm here. You know, I don't have to do this. I want to do this. All right. So price levels need to be indexed and need to be indexed by the array and then added to the dictionary. So we can take the first value on the chart and find number of price levels either side to be our range, then loop through the range. Actually, we won't need an array for that at that point. At that point, we don't need an array. Okay, so we went from a vector to a dictionary to an array. Don't need the array. All right. Then we loop through our range and add these values to the dictionary. Okay. Then with new swing, find where the value exists between dictionary. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. That way we can get it. Yeah. Okay. Exists between dictionary levels. Like I said, I've never had to do this before, but I'm not doing, I'm not doing ABC stuff anymore. It's still tough, but it just requires a different level of thought, planning, process. Okay, so at the beginning of the chart, we're going to go ahead and create all these things, and we don't need them all, but we're going to have a vector. We got two vectors for the swing low and the swing high, and then we got a dictionary. We had an array there. What we need to do is find the price. Okay, so S price is start price equals whatever the low is, and then we're going to. So what's the span on this chart from top to bottom? Let's click on this on the chart, and then as far as our scaling, we're going to scale the date range on the screen. No, the entire date range. Even though we can't see it on the screen, this will give us an idea of how much the range is over the last 5 days, right? Because we're on a 5-day chart. So when we hit that, you see that the price, I guess, went somewhere between 57.40 and 58.40 over the length of the whole thing. So if we go back, 57.60, 57, let's say 57.50, and at the top side, 58.20, 58.30, 760 to 830 is 70 points. So we'll just say, we'll just make a range 100 points, 50 points on either side. So we have the start price will be the low, and then so we're going to go 50 points on either side. So range high is equal to S price plus 50, and range low is equal to S price minus 50. All right, we need our range high, range low, and S price. All those are doubles. This is an integer. And I got that good bit of information from my friend Steve. He said for these numerics, it can be a good practice to put the type of numeric that it is. Integer, double, whatever it is. Integer, double, float, byte, etc., etc. So swing, these are doubles also. Okay, so now that we have our range, now we are going to move through our range. Okay, so method set keys. Hopefully this works this way. Method set keys. Now we're setting the keys for the dictionary. Method set keys. All right, so this is a method which we're running at the beginning. Method void okay. Now that we have this range here, this is a 100-point range, right? So 50 from 50. So the range is going to be, we'll do range. We'll call it chart range. Range chart is equal to range high minus range low. I'm not even going to do that. We're going to go ahead and do the next calculation. So that range divided by the price level range that we want to go from this price to this price to this price to this price is going to be 0.5. I think I have it set up here as range T. Which this will end up being a input because you can change it. So we're going to start that at 0.5. I think that was range T. So that's going to be whatever your total range is divided by this is going to give us how many loops we need, how many iterations we need to do. All right, so we're going to take our total span divided by the range that we want to do, and this will give us how many number of iterations we need to do. All right, so range, we'll call it range I, so range iterations. Starting to get too many letters here. I'm not going to remember what they are. Range iterations is the range high minus range low over the range T, target. Range low, range high, range low. Range iterations. Okay, so now for set keys, now we're going to take that number of iterations. So for 0 to range, why is it not coming up? Because I haven't declared it yet. Range iterations, and that should actually be an integer. Now it may lose bits of precision because we're going from a double divided by an integer. No, divided by a double, but we're looking for an integer though. We want the number of iterations, so it'd probably say that we lose bits of precision. All right, so range iterations. All right, so 0 to range iterations begin. Now this is where the magic comes in at. Now what we're going to do is we're going to develop our keys. So we're going to start at the bottom, which is range low. So range, so the key all right, so we need to check the dictionary, make sure that there's not it in the dictionary already. The key will be variable key. It's a string. All right, so that key is going to be equal to, it's going to be a number. The key is going to be a price level. It's going to be a number. So we're going to have to convert that number to a string. So number to string of what number? The number is going to be the range low plus the iteration. I spelled that wrong, didn't I? Range iteration times our range target. Okay. All right, so for every price, we're going to, we know that we might have like 100 iterations, right? So for each iteration, we need to go the iteration amount times 1, iteration amount times 2, iteration amount times 3. And we're adding that onto what? Onto the range low. Okay, so now that we have the key, now we need to say if the dictionary that we have, dlows dot contains the key. If it contains the key, well, it shouldn't contain the key because we haven't done it before. This is our first time doing it. This is where once on the chart, this is our first time doing it. It shouldn't contain it, but we'll check anyway. If it contains, if that's false, then dlows dot add, we're going to add the key, and we can just put 0 in it. And because the key is the price level and the object, the value, is how many swings we have in it. So key is 0. All right. I feel like I've got some errors. I know I do. I mean, I don't know I do, but let's see. All right. Error for 0 to range iterations. Numeric value expected here. Oh, for IDX. Well, now there is a loop that you can do that you don't have to have the index like that. So I'm curious. Oh, you do need to at least put a dummy code in for value 5 equals value of value 5 from length to looks like I do require that. Let's try it this way. Okay. Ah, well, that makes sense because value 1 starts off at 0 anyway, right? That's because that's a EasyLanguage reserved word. But so that means that you do have to have some type of variable right here. Okay. Now, I mean, I always do. I usually have IDX right here for index, but I thought that you could do it without that. And you can, but you can't. All right, so key numeric string. I think that needs a number to string. We need 2 decimal places in there. Range iteration. Iteration. I still spelled it wrong. Range iterations. S. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, so now I need to know how many values I have in the dictionary. So instead of this, dictionary lows count. Do I have any other print statements here? Let's clear that out. Go here, that. Okay, so last bar on the chart, I have one thing in the dictionary. So this is not right. We should have probably 100 levels, 50 levels in there. If dlows contains the key is false, then dlows.add key of 0. Yes. Add the key. Yes. For value 0 to range iterations. Range iterations might not be populating correctly. Range iterations is equal to range high minus range low. Okay. And we're doing that divided by the range target. Oh. Okay, yeah. Which is 0.5. Okay. Again, the S price is equal to the low. Range high is S price plus 50. I need to make sure that S price, range low, range high is doing what I think it is doing. So once we print the S price, 57.73, fine. 57.70, all right. Let's do range iterations. It should be like 100 or 50 or something like that. Okay, 200, so that's fine. Because I got 50 on one side, 50 on the other, that's 100 divided by 100, divided by a half. So that'd be 200. So that's right. So we should be having 200 iterations found in our dictionary, but we don't. We have 1. So for value 1 equals 0 to range iterations, it might be, no. Let's make sure the key is populating right. So range of low, which stays the same because it was set at the beginning, plus the range iterations times the range target. And due to order of operations, this is fine. So range target is 0.5 times the iteration that we're on. Oh, this iterations right here is staying the same. This range iterations is 200. So this number isn't moving. So we need to change this number to being equal to value 1. Boom. Okay. All right, so now you see down here we did get 201 for our number of iterations in the dictionary, number of keys in the dictionary. And now they're all sequential. The lowest index is the lowest number, so forth and so on. So now that we have everything in the dictionary, now when we come down here and we do have a swing low, a new swing low, we can, I don't think we need that. News within the hour, folks. I don't know what the news is. Let's go back to Fire Eyes. See, this is red. That means we have news within the hour. What is the news, you might say? Final manufacturing PMI 945. Okay. Okay. Set keys. All right, so we got a new swing low. So now we want to check the span. So if the price, we're going to start from the bottom of the dictionary and move our way up to the top. And yeah, we'll do this once. No, we have to check this. This is what I'm trying to figure out. We have to check this on each bar each time we have a swing low, because we'll add it to it. Okay, yeah, that's all right. I'm just trying to make sure that we're not overworking the system. So check the span. So if so we are using the index here because we're going to loop through our keys. So yeah, we use the index. So for IDX equals 0, 0 to the dictionary lows dot count -1 begin end. All right, so the key index, the index key is going to point to what? So dlows dot keys of that index as type string that makes our key. And now we need to do dlows. Okay, and so then that is our that's what's in our dictionary. But it comes out as a doesn't even come out yet. dlows so now we're sorting through the dictionary, and we need to say if the price, if swing low is greater than this first index and less than the index after it, it falls in that interval, less than or equal to this one after it. Now, the only thing here is what comes out of the dictionary will come out. It's going to come out as a. No, we're just looking at the key right now. So we just want the key. All right, and that key will be a string. We need to convert the string to a number. But it's going to come out as a string. So string to number of this string. All right, so now this will be a number now. So if the swing low is greater than this number and it's less than the number after it, index +1, I hope we don't get into any index issues, but if we fall within that interval, then where do we assign the swing low count to? Do we assign it to because we have an interval. We have a price at the top, we have a price at the bottom. Where do we assign the price to, the swing to? Do we assign it to the bottom one or the top one? I'm going to assign it to, well, we're doing lows, so I'm going to assign it to the bottom one. Then the dictionary at that swing low, that bottom one, this index here, dlows dot that key as type string, that key, because so now we've tapped into the dictionary. So what are we going to do in the dictionary? We're going to add to it. Dlows. How do we add to the value in the dictionary? Because you can't do plus equals 1. Because that's what we want to do. So essentially, we're just going to be taking whatever's in the dictionary at that level and then adding 1 to it. So dlows dot the keys, the index as type string, copy. This is really starting to make my eyes go crazy. Hopefully I can get to a stopping point where I can check it. So what's in the dictionary at the key index, that lower one, not the higher one, but the lower one, as this key as type string in the bracket is going to be equal to the same thing that was already in there plus 1. All right, verify. If swing low string to number is less than or equal to that, then I got my then right here. Oh, I got if swing low is greater than this number and swing low is less than or equal to this number. Okay. Okay, so I can't add a plus 1 here because I took something out of the dictionary, but I didn't even say what it was. We're going to as type integer because we're just counting the swing points. All right, very good. So far, really no issues. All right, come back over here. And let's make sure it's still on. Did it get turned off? Turn it back on. Looks like it is taking a while to calculate. It's doing some calculations. But it's doing that on every single bar, right? So now all these price levels, all these price level ranges should have a swing low assigned to the price level or something like that, right? So we could say now that we're at the end of the chart, we should be able to ask it how many swing lows happened at this index, whatever this index is. So let's kind of try it. Let's say, what level are we at now? Let's say this level here, this swing low here happened at 5806.97. Or I guess 5807. So let's say let's ask if the last bar on chart then begin if the DLO's dictionary contains that key, and the key was 5807, then print what's in that key. Then print DLO's 5807 as type integer. Oh. Remember, your keys are strings. They cannot be numeric. DLOs.contain, oh, this is parentheses though, it's not bracket. Okay. All right, so it looks like it didn't contain 5807. I don't know what the closest key is. I don't know what the keys are. So let's I don't know, what's the next one then? 5807, 5807.25. Uh-oh. All right, so we need to find out what our keys are, because it looks like our keys are not what we think they are. So we're just going to print one of the keys, dlos.keys at index. I don't know, we got 200 indexes, so let's say index 150. Dlos. Print it to a string. Okay, if last bar on chart, we got to turn this back on. Okay. All right, if last bar on chart begin, print DLO's keys 150. I don't think it printed anything. I don't think it printed anything. Either that or it shut back off. It did. All right. Vector is empty or an invalid index. Okay. I think it has more to do with what we did with the index up top in the loop. You know, I was telling you, I hope that we didn't get into any trouble with the way we have the index here. Yeah, so we just got an error there. All right, so if swing low is greater than that and swing low is less than that, then index, DLO's index. All right, so if the index, we're going to start at 0, and we're going to move up all the way through the 200 iterations. We're doing DLO's count -1. I feel like we have to work our way down, but I don't want to work my way down. Because we're working with things between. We don't have a between on the last when we get it. So if we have 4 iterations, we go between 0 and 1, between 1 and 2, between 2 and 3. We don't have one at this last one. There's no between. So we just have to, scratch that. Or if the price doesn't fit any of the rest of these, then we go ahead and and stop. Oh, we can also break here, right? So I've been running this and it'll just run through these whole iterations. Well, we do need to run it through everything right now if we're the last bar on the chart. If we're running it for the first time, but okay, all right, couple things. Okay, if we have a new one, then we're going to check span. But if we do find this to be true, then we can go ahead and break. We don't need to run all the iterations every time. We only need to run it until we get to that one spot, and then we can break. All right, so if that, and that, then we're going to begin. We're going to go ahead and perform that operation, and then we're going to break on out of this loop. Perfect. All right, so what was the other thing? We need to go to deloads.count -2. Now verify it. Now come over here, re-add it. Still taking a little bit of time. I mean, usually that thing is like quick. It'll just boop, spit it out. Okay. I didn't get an error that time. God, look at that drop. Wow. Sheesh. You see this nice bar I drew here? It didn't tap into it that last time, but it got close. It got close. But that is a huge drop. I mean, relatively speaking, on the 1 minute time frame. All right. But now how come we didn't print? Okay, yes, print 150. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Give me something. Give me something. All this morning coding. 2 hours already? Hour and a half already coding in the morning? Somebody's got to do it. Okay, that's not right. Is that right? Yes. Okay, so at the 150th index, we have 57.95. So 57.95 is one of our keys. So our keys go by increments of 0.5. So we're going to ask, you see this rejection down here? We're going to say, all right, that's around 57.94. Oh, not a full rejection. Oh. What else is down here? But see, this is why I want to know what's down here, right? How many swing, well, this will be a swing high, which would find a rejection. Or if it's a swing low. How many swing lows, because that's the only thing that we have right now, are at this 57.89-ish area? 57.89.50. 57.89.5. Mute this one. Comment that one out. Open that up. And let's see. See what it says. See if our strategy works. Nope, it didn't like that. Got an error here. Oh, that just says not verified. So no error. No error, but it's not showing that we have 57.89.50 in our. Oh. We have to change this also. All right, rerun it. God, that is brutal. Okay. Still, it's not showing that we have 578950 in our dictionary. Now what I'm going to end up doing is printing all of the keys. That's going to suck. 578950. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to go back here. All right, so one thing I'm going to do is, just for the sake of making this quicker, we're going to put this on 1 day. Okay, so we should get a different number of, you should still have the same number of keys, but we have a different number of swing lows. All right, so we're going to print, well, all right, so we're going to print that. All right, so what's in the key at the index? What's in the 150th index of the dictionary is 5813. So now we just want to do a reverse 5813, and now we're going to put 5813 in here, and we should get a value. Now it may be 0, which just means that there have been no swing lows in that range. Yeah, see, that part is perplexing to me, because we just saw that there is a key of 5813. Maybe it doesn't want to print it as type integer. Maybe it wants to print it as type double. If that's the case, then I've learned something new, but that's not the case. We're still printing the number of iterations somewhere. Yeah. Don't need to print this anymore. All right, so delows I contain, then print delows as type double. Now I'm saying if we do have 5813 in the dictionary, then we're just going to print the number 5, which again, it's not saying, so something is off. I'm doing something wrong. Clearly I'm doing something wrong, because I'm saying that there's I'm asking if there's a key at the 150th index. I want to print that key. And it printed the key, and it said the key was 5813. Now when I put 5813 into the dictionary, 5813. Now I didn't put double zeros, but do I have to? Maybe I have to. I guess I have to, because it's a string, so I would have to. Okay, all right, that makes sense. Right? All right, so good, we get the number 5. All right, so now we keep going into the tank here. So we're going to do 5771. And again, we can't just do 5771. We've got to do 5771.00. I'm always learning something, guys. Always learning something. All right, but I don't want to print 5 this time. This time I want to print what's actually at 5771. I'm almost through this thing. I mean, this is I am to the point to where I see the light. Okay. All right, and this needs to come out as an integer, pretty sure. Yeah. Redo that. Okay, good. So we got our answer. So at 57.71, there's no swing lows down there. Let's look back through the, let's look back. Well, but again, I did this on one day, right? So I did this on one day. And in the past one day, there's nothing down by 57.71. So let's go back to the larger time frame. Look at 57.71. So if we go back, not the first, not the 30th. So back to the 30th, we do have something down by, you know, is lower than 57.79. So let's go back, let's go back to the 5-day mark. 5-day mark, and then let's see if we get anything there. Around 57.71. Oh, finally. Okay, so we got 2 swing lows. Finally, after, what is this? It's been an hour and a half, but I spent the first probably 45 minutes just kind of just talking and just putting around. But so at the around 57.71, we have 2 swing lows on the chart. Okay, so let's see if we can confirm any of that. So 57.71 will put us a line right about here. And then we'll look back on the chart. Nothing so far. Now remember, it's got to be within 0.5. Oh, there we go. It's probably one of those. It's probably one of these. 57. Nah, it's got to be closer than that. It's probably one of these. Because that's 1, 2, 3. It's not this one. This is not a swing low of 4 bars. This will be a swing low of 1, 2, 3 bars. So it's not either of those. One, 2 bars. 1, 2. Well, we're at the end here now, so. Oh. Well, I'm betting it's this one and this one. 2 times. But these happen in aftermarket hours, so probably what we want to do is we want to say, you know, well, I don't know, you know, whether or not aftermarket is substantial or not, that's up to each individual. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here and I'm going to let it show us what the swing lows are. So if we do have a swing low greater than 0, then we're going to plot 1. We're going to plot 4 bars ago, the low, 4 bars. And then we'll come back and look at it again. Now, so the idea that I would do here is that I would do this, and then I would also maybe have one for the higher time frame. And then if you have so many swing lows are over a certain number of swing lows are accumulated, you know, on one time frame, then, and if it's on the higher time frame and you have a certain number of swing lows, then the color will be like red. And if you don't have anything on the higher time frame, then the color will be, you know, light red or green or something, whatever. All right, yeah, you see this one here, it's 1 there. But again, it's got to be between 0.5 points. So from 571 essentially, according to our code, we would be looking between two ranges. We would be looking above 571, 5771, and we'd be looking less than or equal to 5771.50. And that's what our code calls for. Okay, so if the price, if this falls in here, like this one here, I don't know if is that one, that low there is 5771.50. So I think that's the point. So maybe this point and this point. But this point looks like it's pretty close to that point. Looks like it should be in there. 57. That low there is 5771. But for our script says that it's got to be greater than or equal to. So this being equal to does not work. It will not show this one. So it's just showing those two right there. And then when we move laterally, we don't have anything else fall within that range. So, all right, good. Our code works. It works. And now we're right down here to this area. And so, like I said, as we're coming down, I want to know, you know, there's two in this zone right here, right? There's two in that zone. But what's down here by the next zone? 5771, 5770. Or what's down by 5768? Or what's, like, what are these numbers? Like, how many swing lows do we find down here? So if we do 5766, let's go 5767. $57.67 now, young sir. 57.67. Okay, so now at 57.67, how many swing lows showed up down there? Between 57.67 and 57.67.50. Greater than the lower, yeah. So it looks like 5, right? So at this level up here, we had 2. At this level right here, we had 2 swing lows. At 57.67, right in this range, we had 5 swing lows, right? Now, it's getting ugly. It's getting real ugly. Now, what are we seeing down here? And so that's the idea. The idea is for me not to have to open up the chart and look all the way back and draw trend lines and everything. The object is for the computer to have already done that, and it shows me the information. And/or I can then use that in an algorithm that will automatically know as we're approaching this line, it's getting heavy or it's light because it's only 2 swing lows. If we get in this area, it's getting heavy because it's 5. But again, this is a strength of 4 bars, right? Now those 5, now these 2 could have been huge, aggressive rejections, which not only shows up on a 4-bar pivot strength, it also shows up on a 20-bar pivot strength. So that's why I say, to be able to take this information and then maybe superimpose it with a stronger trend, I think that's important too. So what happened down here by 57.63? Don't worry, if you're done watching this, you can hop off because I'm just going to probably do this for a while because I finally got to the end. And the baby is here, and I'm just coddling it. It's so precious, So precious. Again, know how much programming you do, but when you get so much of it out of your brain, you kind of lose it a little bit. All right? You kind of lose it a little bit. All right, so down by 57.63, I didn't find any swing points at that in that interval. So it might keep going down further until it finds another area with more swing points. You know, I don't know. This is cool. But the idea here now is to then, for every level on here, print what the how many swing points it is. So that that'll take the other half of the afternoon. That'll take the other half of the afternoon. But tell you what, I'm gonna take a break, and I'm gonna work on this a little bit more. See if I can at least put these levels on. I won't worry about doing the higher time frame right now, but I'll see if I can at least put the levels on. So if we're on the last bar on the chart, we want to go through all the dictionary. It'll get cluttered. It will get cluttered. All right, so delos of key, that's a price, and that needs to be a string to number. This is a double. Swing count. That boy is on fire. That boy is on fire. That boy is on fire. All right. Awesome. So this is what I was looking for. Like I said, it's very jumbled. But if you open up the scale here, you can see for every price level how many swing lows happen. And you see down here, hardly any swing lows, at least happen on this chart looking 5 days back, right? So we might have to open it up into a larger range. Let's do this. Let's change the scale. And we're going to go entire date range. So the entire date range that I have on this chart anyway probably goes only as low as 57.75 anyway, because it just hadn't gone that low. So apparently we're making some, at least coming into some 5-day lows, right? So the lowest that we went is around here, 57.75. But if we look where we are in that range, and this is printing on every bar, and that's why I say I don't want to print this on every bar. I need this to stay with the current bar, and I just need it to update, right? Just need it to update. So I'm not done with the script, and I haven't even done anything with the swing highs. But you see here, there were a couple swing lows down in here. There's one right here. There's one right here. This area right here actually had about four swing lows in it. This area here had 5 swing lows. So this actually is kind of like a little bit more of a significant area right here. Price moved on through it. I mean, not in a crazy fashion, but it did move through it. So the other thing that I would do is, instead of having this as, so a couple things. So one, I would not print it if there's zeros. I wouldn't print it if there's zeros. And then the other thing is I would change this into some type of object, right? So I don't know how much more trouble it is on the system to make these into rectangles. So I'd make this into like, and I've seen people before, they'll use like the letter I or something like that. And so for every time you have a new count, you have a new letter I. So that's a way to do it. All right, so now what I'd be looking for is something that has the swing highs, right? So because as we're coming up, how far do you come up before you hit some swing highs again? This area in here it looked like double digits. Looks like that's 10, 10, and 12. Yeah, so look how many swing highs were in this range. But price still broke through, right? 10, 9s and 10s. This is a bit of a range here. This is a bit of a range here. So interesting. Okay, well, that's all I had for you guys today. I hope this gives somebody some inspiration. And we're just going to keep working. Keep being creative. Keep working. Oh, it looks like it came. Okay, so we came down. We hit a news event. So that was, I guess, the 9:45 news event. Oh, we had a news event here too. So, oh, this was the 9:45 news event, and then we had one at 10 o'clock also. This was the orange folder news event. This is the red folder news event. Not to mention, we caught somebody's swing low. This looks like this was a swing low, or excuse me, a daily low from September 30th, yesterday. So it caught yesterday's swing low. Yesterday's low. And now, yep, there it is. Caught yesterday's low. And also, this is the low from the 24th. So it's trying to show a little bit of a response on those lows. Will it hold? I don't know. I don't know, guys. I'm just me. All right. I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.